You can introduce yourselves in the chat, and there will be a discussion forum towards the second part of the meeting where you'll have the chance to talk to some other members directly. So introduce yourselves there too. We'll introduce all the board of trustees who are currently on the board, those who are leaving and those who are joining. And then we'll move into the formalities of the actual AGM business with the minutes of the last meeting, report on our activities over the past year and our finances. And we have a set of standards summary in Portuguese to launch, and a couple of people here who've been involved in doing that for us. And then we'll move into the members networking and discussion. So hopefully we'll be here together for about an hour and a half, all being well. Okay, so just for some of you, I know are very familiar with IACD and our work, but for some newer members perhaps, or guests who are joining us, that might not be as sort of upfront in your knowledge. So just to keep everybody on the same page, IACD is the International Association for Community Development. We're celebrating our 70th anniversary year this year, so we've been going for quite a few decades. Our vision is of collective and globally connected community development practice all around the world, founded on and leading to empowerment, equality, human rights, social justice, participative democracy, and sustainable development. So our vision is of a set of values that are very much about a way of working, a society and societies around the world that we would want to see, and also outcomes for those societies and communities that we work with. Our mission as an organisation is to promote values-based community development as a practice that's one of empowerment and facilitative networking, sharing of learning and opportunities for our global membership. That links very much to our purpose, which is as a network of community development practitioners. Just going to move that down the bottom because it's in the way of me reading. We in 2016 consulted and agreed on a shared understanding and definition of community development that informs how we work as a collective group of practitioners and an organisation. So for IACD, community development is a practice-based profession and a discipline. It promotes participative democracy, sustainable development, human rights, economic opportunity, equality, and social justice. And it does that through the organisation, education, and empowerment of people within their communities, however those communities are defined. So that could be by locality or geography, identity or interest, and it includes urban and rural settings. We have a very specific set of values that are articulated in much of our documentation on our website and in our strategic plan, and they're outlined here as well. I'm not going to go through them again because I have referenced those in what I have said so far. But what I would say is that as an organisation, we recognise that community development is a values-based practice and a profession, and those values are uppermost in terms of how we work and how we seek to support each other to work with the communities that we're involved with. So, as I said before, where are we at? 45 members now present. If you haven't yet, if you'd like to put your name, the country and region that you're involved in, and where you are based and work into the group chat, but also use this as the basis perhaps to introduce yourselves when we do go into group discussion in a little while later in the meeting as well. So just so that everybody is familiar with how we work, we have a board of trustees. IACD is a Scottish charitable incorporated organisation, so we are governed by Scottish charity legislation and our operational base is in Scotland. But our board of trustees is international, and this is the current membership that we have had on the board for the year 22 to 23. So as you can see, representation from the majority of global regions around the world. And we have a maximum of 20 trustee places on the board. Many of our trustees are here today. So if you would like to just sort of raise your hand, give a wave, maybe just put your, if you are here, put your name into the chat as well, so that other members who are here from your region can see who the trustees are and connect with you. That would be great. We also have a part-time member of staff who we employ, who's based in Scotland. Up until December 2022, that was Meredith Greta, who was with us for about 4 years and did a fantastic job. Thank you, Meredith. Meredith moved on to other things towards the end of last year, and we were joined by Jessica Sinclair, who is with us now and who's here today as IACD Global, with lots of balloons shining above her head. Jessica is our well, not so new now, administrative officer. So on a day-to-day basis, probably in terms of engagement with IACD, would often be Jessica that you would have as a first point of call. Jessica, if you just want to wave your hand and say hello, that would be great as well.
Hi, it's great to be here. Great to meet everyone.
Okay, so I'm not sure quite how many of our trustees are here, but we'll maybe just do a quick run round. If you can see yourself on the picture, Catherine, are you here? Would you like to say hello?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Catherine.
My name is Catherine Wanjohi from Kenya and a trustee for Sub-Saharan Africa.
Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. Maybe to save a wee bit of time, if the trustees who are here could come off mute, and then as we run through, you're ready to say hello. Daniel?
Okay, thank you, Anna. And my name is Daniel from Nairobi. Great to be involved with this great organization. Thank you very much, and best wishes to all of us.
Thanks, Daniel. Not sure if Tony's with us. Okay, maybe not. Michelle?
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle from Tanarang Country in Victoria, Australia, and I'm one of the Oceania trustees, as well as vice chair. And it's great to see so many people here this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Michelle. Ritu, are you here with us?
Yes, Anna. Hi, everyone. I'm joining from Delhi. I am a trustee from Southeast Asia and very eager to connect. I have a background in public health. So if anyone is interested in communities and public health, I'll be eager to learn from you. Thank you. Thanks,
Ritu. We have had apologies from Denise, given the unsociable time that it would be in New Zealand just at the minute. Abdul, I'm not sure if you're with us. I haven't seen you yet on screen. I know we've had apologies from Paul as well. Holly?
Hi, I'm Holly Scheib. I'm a trustee in the United States for North America and Caribbean, and welcome everyone. So glad to see everyone here.
Thank you. I think we've had apologies from Janine. Shirley, I think I saw you pop up on my screen. You're here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm Shirley from Hong Kong, based in Hong Kong. I'm a trustee from East Asia. I'm quite new to the board, actually, but not new to the IACD. Glad to be here and see all of you.
Not new at all, Shirley. Thank you for joining. Marlon, are you with us? Okay, maybe not. Sonia?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm good. So glad to be here. I'm Sonia from India, and I'm a trustee from South Asia.
Thanks very much, Sonia. Drive carefully. Claire?
Hi everybody, I'm Claire from the East Coast of Scotland and IACD Treasurer, and delighted to see so many friends here.
Thanks, Claire. And Anastasia?
Hi everyone, I don't know where you got that awful photograph, Anna, but anyway, that's me in one way or another. And I'm very glad to be here. I'm an outgoing trustee from Ireland representing Europe, and delighted to see so many of you were able to join today.
Thank you. And Colin.
Hi, yes, yeah, my name's Colin Ross. I'm joining from Glasgow. I'm one of the European region trustees, and I'm also currently assisting with the treasurer's role with Claire. So yeah, that's me. As I say, I'm having some technical issues here. That's just why I've not come on the video, but I'm trying to sort that out. Anyway, lovely to see everybody, and I'm sure we'll have a great meeting.
Okay, thanks very much, Colin. So as you can see then, those are our current trustees. Now, AGMs are usually a time for a little bit of a changeover, and that's no different on this occasion as well. We have 4 trustees who are either leaving or have stood down through the course of the last year. And those are Anastasia, who's here with us, and then 3 other trustees, Anastasia Matvievskaya from Georgia, Denise, sorry, excuse me, Denise Bijou from New Zealand, and Paul LaChapelle from the United States. So we have to say thank you very much for all of your hard work for IACD over the last however many years you've been on the board, and very best of luck with everything that you're moving on to do. On some occasions, we do have awards and recognition celebrations for trustees and others who've been involved in contributing to IACD's work or to community development on a global scale. And our website highlights who those awards have been presented to in previous years. This year, there are two recipients of awards. They are, and she doesn't know this, Michelle Dunscombe from Australia, who we would like to make an award of a Global Ambassador Award, which is a very specific award for someone who has done phenomenal work, often within a time frame associated with promoting IACD and its work and promoting community development. Michelle, as she introduced herself, was the chair of the Darwin World Community Development Conference this year, which took place in June. Had a wonderful team of people around her that she coordinated, but did a fantastic job. Over 400 registrations and participants at the conference over a 3-day period, a wonderful selection of practice exchange visits following the conference, and very importantly, significant participation of people from First Nations communities, not just from Australia, but from other countries as well. So Michelle, you are a very justifiable recipient of a Global Ambassador Award. And I'll come to you in a second when I'm going to stop screen sharing, if you'd just like to say a few words, even though I'm putting you on the spot, which I'm sorry about, but you can't keep it secret and then not put somebody on the spot. But we also are making, or have made, a Lifetime Achievement Award to Anastasia Crickley. Now, this isn't a surprise because she already has it, because we took the opportunity when we were in Darwin to present Anastasia with her award. And she did have the chance to say a few words, which was by surprise on that occasion. But we'll also give Anastasia the opportunity now to say a few words as well. And Michelle, perhaps when you're saying your few words, you might just explain briefly what it was that we presented Anastasia with too. And that presentation in Darwin took place at our gala dinner. And that's just a photo of all the trustees, past and present, who were at the Darwin conference, and a lovely opportunity to celebrate that. So I'm just going to stop screen sharing for a second, and Michelle, invite you to say a few words, if you would like to.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, sorry, I was not expecting the award at all. So firstly, thank you very much for that. And it's been my honor and privilege. And I love that ongoing connection with IACD. And look, I had a blast in Darwin, had a blast organising it with a great crew supporting and volunteers from, you know, around Australia, but also in Darwin as well. And for me, it was particularly important for the first time to actually elevate the voices of First Nations people globally. It's the 30th year since the United Nations Year of Indigenous Peoples. And for me to honour my elders and ancestors, it was really important for me to have that focus, and there was no better place to, you know, than in Darwin to do that. So I thank everybody that came and was part of the time that we had together there. So thank you, IACD, for a very surprise award. And I'll now explain a little bit about the Coolaman. So we presented Anna with Anastasia with a beautifully hand-carved Coolaman from East Arnhem Land when we were together in Darwin. And in Australia, the Coolaman, sometimes it's called a Yandi dish in different parts of the country. It's actually a women's tool, which is generally used to carry water, fruit, nuts, prepare food, carry babies. It's basically a tool that is a wisdom tool for women. You know, they use it for all sorts of things. And, you know, for somebody like Anastasia, who is an amazing woman of lots of wisdom, carrying lots of load, the Coolaman's there to help her on her journey, and as she moves on to whatever it is she does next. So we'd love to now hear from you, Anastasia. I know we heard from you in Darwin, but I'd love to hear from you tonight as well. Oh, and I can see you've got your Coolaman there with you.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Michelle. And thank you for that explanation, which is much more eloquent than the one that I could have given. But just so that everybody can see it, this is my Coolaman, and I am extremely grateful to all of you and all of the colleagues who presented it to me that night in Darwin. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Michelle and all of you who were involved in the organisation, not just the organisation, but also the very significant work that went into carrying through on the conference and all of the associated activities. It was a groundbreaking conference, and I think it has created the conditions for a number of other things. There are just, as someone who is a trustee that's standing down, there are just three things I would like to say, and one proposal for the future. One, firstly, I think the existence of IACD, of the International Association for Community Development, is really important. It's a fundamentally important expression of the existence of a discipline, as is very clearly articulated in the values and in the definition that IACD has put together. And I think that's important because it takes what we all do beyond just a few methods or an approach that are applied in other areas, which is really important, and I very much salute those of you who are doing that. but what it does is it makes what we do core and central. It makes what we do core and central in a way that calls for the global acknowledgement which a global organization deserves. And I think that's fundamentally important. Secondly, as a mechanism for earning authority. I'm conscious that having said that we're a global organization, we are also an organization that relies very much on the efforts of all of us who are in this room or in these rooms today and others who cannot be with us. And for me, what that means is that all of us have to earn authority as people who are practitioners or as academics or as people associated with the discipline. We can't just we can't assert authority. We need to earn it. And I think that does certainly put us up to us on an ongoing basis. And thirdly, it seems to me that asserting independence of community work or community development, and it's used, different names are used in different parts of the world. Here in Ireland, we use both, is extremely important. I know some of us feel that we shouldn't take money from the state, and I can understand why, but I'm of the view that most states have opposition political parties and don't have any problem with them getting some resources, and I see no reason why all of us involved in community work and community development shouldn't be in a position to hold a mirror up to the states that we come from, even although doing that in particular contexts can demand all of the skills and strategies that we can employ. And then lastly, can I say, right now, it seems to me, and this links back to what you were saying, Michelle, that throwing off the shackles of the colonial Anglo-American male beginnings that this discipline had, and using the reinterpretations of it and the methods and the ideas, which are diverse globally, is really important and something that we need to learn to do from the ground up in association with all of the voices from all over the world, including those voices that we met in Darwin, for example. It's really important that all of us begin that journey together in making our own theory, making our own way forward in a way that, for example, at the moment reflects, as you did, Michelle, the Declaration on Indigenous Peoples now at 30 years, the reality that the SDGs are getting rapidly nowhere, even although we're at the halfway stage 7 years down the line, and the reality that human rights were never more spoken about on the agenda and less inclined to come off the page in ways that make sense. And I'm just conscious also that what they call sort of virtue signaling will get us nowhere. We've just got to do it and keep going. And I look forward to continuing to do that for another few years and to having some association perhaps with all of you through the international group. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Anastasia and Michelle. And I think what I didn't do when I introduced both of those awards was actually then say again what I said in Darwin as to why Anastasia was being awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award. But as she is able to do, she articulates that very clearly and has done so again without even making reference to being given an award. So thank you both for everything that you have done for IACD, everything that I'm sure you will continue to do for IACD, and also to our other trustees who have stepped down this year or as of this AGM. So moving on then, as well as saying thank you and cheerio to some, we also say hello and welcome to some others. And I think 3 of them are here with us at the minute. We've had apologies, unfortunately, from one. So Sissy Rock from Aotearoa, New Zealand, representing Oceania, Hunter Phillips Goodman from the USA, and Laurie Cook from Canada, both of whom will be representing North America and the Caribbean islands, and Ciara Shanahan from Ireland, who will be a new European trustee. So Hunter and Laurie, I think you are both here. If you'd just like to say hello, that would be great. And then Ciara.
Hi, just saying hello. I'm Lori Cook. I go by she, her, and I am a community development consultant based in Canada on Turtle Island and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And I'm very excited. I've been part of the Researchers Forum recently, which is new, and met some lovely people, members from Ghana that I've been working with, and very excited to learn more about the IACD and its work.
Thank you, Laurie. Hunter, I did see you previously with company on your knee. Are you still with us?
Yes, good day. That was my son who joined me this morning. My name is Hunter Goodman, and I'm a faculty member for Cooperative Extension at the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture, and I'm in the United States in Little Rock, Arkansas. So it is an incredible honor to join as a trustee and to be a member of IACD. It worked collaboratively towards the mission. And so thank you. It's wonderful to see so many faces here and to have been a part of the conference in Darwin. It was truly a wonderful event.
Thank you, Hunter. And Kira, hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name's Kira Shanahan. I'm based in the very currently wet west of Ireland. And I'm really delighted to have this opportunity to become a trustee representing the European region. I've been involved with IACD for 3 years now. I was lucky enough to be involved in co-facilitating a workshop at the conference in Georgia, which obviously, as you all know, was held remotely. So I've met some faces on the screen previously, also as European region members meeting. I look forward to meeting more people to contribute into the work of the organisation. I suppose just for context as well, I'm the coordinator of the All Ireland Endorsement Body for Community Work Education and Training. So we would have developed, along with Community Work Ireland, the standards for All Ireland standards for community development, which are very much mirrored and reflected in the values as expressed by IACD also. And we're very concerned in particular with workforce development, strengthening the community work profession, really with the overall outcome of supporting best outcomes for the communities that community workers work with. So I look forward to joining you all on the journey, the international and global journey, and meeting you all again. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Kira. And as I said, we've had apologies from Sissy, but look forward to her joining us as well. So moving on then to the sort of more formal aspects of our meeting today. We have had a number of apologies which will be noted. If you're aware of anyone who has sent apologies, but maybe to you rather than to us, pop that into the chat as well. The first item really is the minutes of the 2022 AGM. Now, they're just a reflection really of the formalities of that meeting and a summary of discussion at the second part of it. They were circulated with the notification of this meeting and the agenda and the annual report. We do need to formally approve them. Hopefully you've had the chance to have a read of them. If you're happy that they're an accurate record of the meeting, if you were there, could we have a proposer and a seconder, please? And if you could verbalise that for my benefit, because I can't see many people at all on the screen. I'm not sure who might be saying I'll propose.
I'm happy to propose them, Anna.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And would we
I'm happy to second.
Thanks, Holly. Can I take it everybody is in favour? If there are any inaccuracies, do you want to highlight those that you're aware of? Okay, and any matters arising from those minutes that aren't on today's agenda for discussion? Okay, thank you very much. So we'll work on the adoption of those minutes then from last year. So moving on then to report on the work of IACD over the last year. All of the work that is undertaken with the support of our administrative officer is directed and coordinated by our trustees. So we all take on specific areas of work, and that includes chairing a number of committees, and it's those committee chairs who are going to report broadly on the achievements of the organisation over the last year. This is just a highlight report. A more detailed report of our work, again, has already been sent to all members and will be on our website after today. And that's all in the annual report. So I'm going to call first upon Michelle, possibly supported by Holly, to give us a highlight summary of the achievements of the Membership Communications and Marketing Committee.
Thanks, Anna. I'll start, and then Holly can sort of follow up in behind. I'm just going to cover the 3 points that we're talking, top 3 there, and then Holly can do the other 2. I've been as a organisation, but particularly from the Membership Communications and Marketing Committee, we're hugely happy that we've had 12% growth in membership in the last financial year, and that in part is to deciding to offer members discount to if they registered, when registering for the conference. So a lot of people, we attracted a lot of new members as a result of the Darwin conference, but also seeing a lot more members seeing the value in their membership and continuing on their journey with IACD. You can see that we have lots of visitors to our website, and we've been increasing followers across all of our social media channels. This year, we also managed to get back control of our LinkedIn account. So many of you will have noticed that for many years, LinkedIn was inactive, and it's absolutely active now. We have full control of it, which was an interesting project on its own to take back control of that. And of course, now we do the production of the bi-weekly, so a fortnightly membership e-newsletter goes out to everybody, and we encourage all members to give us stories, write a blog, those sorts of things that we can include in the new e-newsletter. Let other people around the world know what you're doing. If you're working on a new framework or you've released a new book, whatever it might be, we like to do that cross-pollination around the globe, because what you've just written about might be something that interests somebody else. So I'm going to hand over to Holly now just to talk about the remaining 2 points there.
Sure, thanks, Michelle. So as a result of the wonderful conference put on by Michelle D and colleagues, we've had a tremendous growth in Oceania and our relationships and in our membership. We've facilitated over 21 webinars and online-based events for members around the globe. So different regions put on webinars. And certainly if you're hearing this, webinars are an opportunity for you to talk about your work and your network and approach your regional representatives to see about putting on a webinar. We had keynote inputs and wide participation by our practitioners, and over 800 registrations for some of those different webinars. So just keep that in mind. So if you've recently published a book, or you're doing some interesting work, or you just want to share, that's a place for you to be. Anything else, Michelle, we want to add? Oh, I would add, more members are welcome in our committee.
Absolutely, we're actively recruiting for extra bodies to help us on the MCM committee, and you don't have to be a board member to contribute to one of the IACD committees.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, and more of that later in terms of ways to be more actively involved with IACD. So if that's kind of spurred your interest, hold that thought. Because there's more to come. So thank you both. The next committee reporting on its work is the Publications and Professional Development Committee, and that's Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Yeah, the Publication and Professional Development Committee, we've had a number of achievements over the financial year that we are reporting in, and starting with the translations of the international standards for community development. Over the year that's under report, we managed to produce the Portuguese edition. Of course, more translations continue to be undertaken, and of course, we are challenging all of us if we can again undertake the work of translating the standards into the languages that we commonly use. That will be welcome, and welcome your participation and contribution to that end, so that then the standards can become mainstreamed in what we do in our practice in our different continents, in our different spaces, and in the languages that would make sense to the people we work with. Then secondly, we completed a survey on the international standards use, and of course the report is ready. We are discussing it. We'll be again disseminating the recommendations of what the way forward in terms of how, based on the feedback that we have received from the membership, what exactly now can be done to further entrench the use of the standards globally. Thirdly, we published the 10th year anniversary edition of the Practice Inside magazine, which was again a celebration of the landmark of the achievement in Practice Inside magazines, which continue to be the major tool for our communication and our platform through which again we share the work and the highlights of what we do with our colleagues. More work again continues to be done. Then, based on the community development practice book, we were able to produce 6 podcasts on thematic areas, and these again are archived in a website. You might want to access them to get more details on what is being said in the book if you prefer more listening than reading. And then there is the book arising out of the contributions of the World Community Development Conference 2021, which we continue to be editing, but now we are reaching towards the tail end. The publishers are telling us that the book is going to be ready in September, so we'll be able to communicate with once that one is available, so that then again we can continue the engagement that was started in Nairobi 2021 during the conference. And then lastly, as reported earlier on, over the year under report, we held the 2nd Virtual World Community Development Conference from Ureki, Georgia, in partnership with the Inclusive Practices Network. And in that conference, we had 285 delegates participating virtually. And these are delegates who represented over 60 countries from around the globe. That's more than half of the world participated in that conference. And this again is indication of the reach that we have as IACD. Thank you very much. Back to Anna.
Thank you, Daniel. And as Daniel highlighted, his first point there, recent publication of the Portuguese summary, translation of the international standards for community development. Those are formally launched as of today, and particularly would like to thank one of our members from Portugal, Mario Montes, who's with us, and also Jessica, our administrative officer, who is pretty fluent in Portuguese, who worked together to produce that summary of the standards, having already produced a full detailed translation of the full document, which was done by Mario. I think that was last year. So big thank you to Mario and to Jessica for their work on that. And we do welcome further translations. All the translations of the international standards have been done by members on a voluntary basis, and the more translations we're able to support and encourage, the greater the connection potential with practitioners in other parts of the world. So that's a really important area of work for us. Thank you very much, Daniel, for your report. And then the final committee in relation to the overall work of the organisation is the International Relations Committee. And the chair of it has been Anastasia Crickley, and co-chaired with Tony, who is not with us today, I don't think. So Anastasia, over to you.
Thank you, Anna. In a nutshell, the International Relations Committee works in three ways. First of all, the global connections, the links between IACD and international interstate organizations, in particular the United Nations, but also the links between IACD and international civil society organizations and groups that are relevant for us to be engaged with. Secondly, we have hosted the International Educators Forum, including a meeting of that recently at our conference, but that's not in Darwin, but that's not the year that we're reporting on. And associated with that, there is now a developing international Researchers Forum. And thirdly, we respond to international issues or to international concerns and days, which emerge sometimes on an annual basis, but sometimes happen just as the result of a disaster or result of a war or something that it is important for community workers globally to respond to. Membership, as Michelle explained, is open to everybody who is a member of IACD, and you don't have to be a member, you don't have to be a trustee or a member of the board. But bear in mind that even although this is an international relations committee, our funding as an organization is very limited to 1.5-time staff person. So if you think international relations might mean quite a lot of globe trotting, you probably won't be trotting any further than you're trotting at the moment to your screen in terms of the work that we do. Although we do try to have a physical presence as well, where we can piggyback that on things that people are involved in already, or where it's actually physically possible on the odd occasion to get resources for it. So in the last year, for example, a number of the things that we have been involved in included hosting the Global Community Development Educators Forum, and also facilitating the development of the new Community Development Researchers Forum, as well as facilitating those linkages with global organizations. For example, every year up until now, we have attempted to make some statement about the high-level political forum on the SDGs. We didn't actually this year, but we will be doing a follow-up statement soon, because there's also, as a number of you may know, going to be a summit in the autumn where the outcome of the high-level political forum on the SDGs will be considered by all of the world's leaders. Hopefully that might get them a small bit further. Secondly, during the year, thirdly, we participated in 2 UN multilateral fora concerning international and key global challenges. So for example, I was able to participate in Geneva at the Human Rights Commission, where I raised issues associated with racism and minorities. And we were also able to participate virtually in New York for the Commission on the Status of Women, which takes place every year in March. We issued statements also for support of women's equality and empowerment for that Commission on the Status of Women for the 67th one this year. And then we facilitated an international workshop exploring community development responses to the climate issue crisis, which, as we know, is a major issue for us all. We have also contributed to community development conferences and supports for national and regional bodies, including the All Ireland Symposium on Community Work, Education and Training, which a number of members of this committee participated in globally, including Daniel, who's here with us today, and Anne Jennings from Australia. And also we had one of Sarah, whom I saw on the screen a little while ago, actually participated physically in that event. We contributed to the Australian National Recovery Forum, the CDAS conference, which is a Scottish conference, and the ABCD Global On Conference. So this is just a short synopsis of some of the sort of activities that keep the people involved in this committee busy, and all of you, or any of you who feel like it, I know would be very welcome to join it. Tony has agreed to continue as chair of it.
Thank you very much, Anastasia, for that summary. And just in case he's feeling a little bit left out, Colin Ross also took part in the All Ireland Symposium on Community Work Education and Training as well. So not to leave anybody out of the roll call there. So as you can see, across the work of the organisation, there's a breadth of activity that takes place throughout the year. There's a lot more detail in the annual report, but across those three committees, the outward facing aspects of our work is facilitated. So being a trustee on the board also requires the willingness to be actively involved in doing things. Aside from those three committees, we have an executive committee, which is primarily responsible for aspects of governance and running the organisation. So through the last year, we were involved in a number of initiatives, which included the development of a new trustees handbook and a new members handbook, which flowed from the change in our legal status in 2021, I think, if memory serves. But then there's an annual cycle of things that we also have to do, as every other organisation does. And I've highlighted those already in recruitment and induction of new trustees, supporting that team working of that group of people, making sure that we continue to operate in appropriate way for a charitable organisation in accordance with our strategy, maintain our cycle of meetings, and meet all the requirements for a registered charity as well. In addition to managing staff, which this year also involved a fairly sizable recruitment process. So lots of ongoing work, and keeps us busy all on a voluntary basis. So the final aspect of reporting on our work for the year involves a presentation of the accounts. The summary that you can see here, which has got red arrows through it for some reason, is going to be down to our treasurer to give you a whistle-stop tour of. So I'm going to hand over to you, Claire.
Thanks, Anna. I'm here to present you with the annual accounts, and the trustees approved the accounts for 22-23 by email, having early sight of them. So this is kind of the formal process to get these approved. The accounts you'll see are in £sterling. That's because IACD operates as a Scottish charity and is based in Scotland. We're a Scottish Charitable Incorporated Organisation, or a SCIO for short. So Karen Henderson, who's our accountant at 4M, has signed off the accounts and has confirmed with confidence that we operate as a going concern. So I'm pleased to report the following highlights. We've again had income from a continued grant from the Scottish Government for £20,000. And we've also seen an increase in our membership fees after a concerted effort to increase membership. We've had a 12% increase in membership, which is incredible. We couldn't operate without you, our members, so continued thanks for your membership and support. A warm welcome to our new members, and please do encourage others in your networks to join the IACD. You'll see, though, that we didn't have conference income in this year, as we'd agreed to donate the small surplus that had been generated by the online conference in Georgia to our partners in Georgia for their continued efforts in supporting Ukrainian refugees. And you'll see that, as expected, with inflation being high in the UK, that some of our costs have increased this year, including staffing costs, and we increased the staff salary this year. Overall, our net income is £3,011. which is a great position for us to be in, because we weren't sure that we would be making a surplus this year, because it's been such a difficult operating environment with inflationary increases. And I just want to really thank Meredith Greta, our former admin assistant, and Jessica Sinclair, as well as our assistant treasurer Colin, over the last year, and for all the directors in their support and governance of our financial position. And I'll just move back to Anna to get a formal approval of the accounts.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you to you as well for your work and the role of treasurer, and keeping all of that managed with a firm hand. So one of the things that we do need to do at the AGM is formally approve the annual report and approve the accounts. So given that there has been the opportunity for everyone to review these in advance, if we could have a proposer and a seconder, please, verbally, and move to adopt.
I'm happy to propose, Anna.
Thanks very much, Colin. And seconder?
Happy to second.
Thank you very much, Holly. Everybody in favour? I'll take silence as yes. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you to all our trustees there for their inputs in relation to that. Now, I do appreciate that we've given you quite a lot of information, and you've had other information in the document that's got more detail in it that was circulated. If you do have any questions or anything like that that you just want to clarify, please do feel free to email us or communicate with us around that. But I am also conscious of our time today. So moving forward, what we really wanted to do was to give you the opportunity to have some time to go into some smaller groups for some discussion, drawing on what you have heard in the sort of information aspect of this meeting. But also to think about that from your point of view as a member, as a community development practitioner in your community, your country, and also as a contributor to the work of IACD now and moving forward into the future. So we'd like to invite you to join a breakout room for a discussion of approximately 20 minutes. With a trustee, hopefully, in each one. And if there isn't a trustee, just the way it all kind of like shakes out in terms of who gets put into what room, if you wouldn't mind just trying to sort of, you know, keep a note of keeping yourself on track with the task at hand here. But we'd like to invite you to think about what you have heard this afternoon or today. And think about these three questions. What elements interest you in our work that you would like to be more involved in? What are the key themes and issues that IACD should focus on over the next few years? And how can you, or rather, how can IACD support you and our membership to be more involved in the organisation's work? And that's picking up on some of those comments that you will have heard about getting involved with the work of the committees. But so those opportunities are there. Hopefully you have a sense of what the work of the organisation is around. We're progressing with the final year of our current plan. So broadly, much of that will remain the same for the year that we're in now. We will be moving forward to develop a new plan too. So those ideas around issues and themes for IACD in the future are really important question. That is a really important question for us to get your thoughts on. Because of the number of people that we have and the time that we have, it's probably not a great use of time to spend a lot of that at the end trying to get feedback. So we'd like to invite you as individuals to complete, a very short survey online that has the same 3 questions. So you can share your comments and your thoughts and ideas in relation to these questions on an online form that you can then just click and submit. So we get all that information captured. I'm going to stop screen sharing, copy that link and put it into the chat. And then Jessica's going to whiz us all off into some breakout rooms. So if you can just bear with me for a second while I get the link and put that into the chat. And we will have a bit of a plenary discussion at the end, time permitting, but to try and get formal feedback from everyone, I think is probably going to be a little bit overly onerous. So if we can do it this way, I think that will be the best option. You might want to open that link that I've sent there before you go into a group, because once you go into a group, you might lose that message thread. So the link is there. If you want to open it, and then I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we'll send you all off into a little breakout room. Is that all the groups back then? How many have we got here? 34. Probably getting pretty close to it now. Okay, so I mean, given that we did have quite a lot of people in breakout rooms, and hopefully your discussions were good, but you don't necessarily want to hear absolutely everything that was discussed in every room, because for 6 rooms it would take us quite a bit of time. But what I did want to do was invite you to share any reflections generally on the meeting today, whether that's what you've heard earlier, reflection personally in relation to some of those questions, or something that came out of the discussion in your room that you think is important that you'd like to highlight. So we'll do it that way, but not, you know, a systematic set of feedback from every group. That's the purpose of that little survey form for you to fill in, so that your views and ideas can be captured and factored in. And we'll make sure that's also reflected in the minutes of the discussion as well. So for the last 5 or 10 minutes at most, I'd just like to invite you to share any reflections on the meeting today, anything that's come up, and anything you'd like to contribute.
I can see that. Yes,
Mario, yeah.
is it possible? Yeah. Well, we were having a very interesting chat in our room when you when you shut us up, and I think these moments I think these moments were it was very rich on sharing ideas among us. I think Holly and the others can agree with this, and I think we skip a little bit the main goal, so we didn't go through the things so literally as it was intended to be, but we already shared some contacts, and we are thinking on some work together, which I think it was also one of the specific goals of these room meetings. So I don't know if the members want to say something. So thank you to the people in my small group, and to Holly for animating the group and leaving a space for that. I think there'll be very fruitful things coming out from this. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Mario. That's good to hear as well. I know the networking bit gets kind of crunched in time, but it is a good opportunity. Anybody else like to share any reflections or commentary from the discussion?
I'll maybe chip something in.
Colin. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a couple of particular things I think that came across in our group. One was some interest in the international relations aspect of IACD's work, which was really encouraging to hear. And And also, I think the other thing was about just trying to think more about really how to get new members involved when they do first join, and a feeling that there was something that needs to happen then just to give an initial kind of focus for people. So we had a bit of chat about that, but I think obviously that's something maybe for, some further consideration as well.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to engage members around. I think one of the things, because we're going to be developing a new strategic plan for the next 4 years, through the autumn we will be doing like a more specific and detailed membership survey, and asking some of those questions, but others too. So hopefully some of our newer members might come up with some ideas there. Little message there. Okay, that's just a thank you. Any other reflections or comments that you'd like to make before we
partly
close?
Partly because I'm going to have to leave fairly soon. We had some difficulty with the communications, but we did well, I think, in the end. And one of the comments that emerged, which is something that has come out in a number of the discussions, including in Darwin and other international discussions we've had in the last year and over the last years, is the challenges that we face in terms of the status overall, the way community development is perceived and the status overall of community development and of community work, and of our need maybe to sort of assert the right to move from the barrio, as we were saying, to the boardroom, as something that's quite important. And we also spoke about the need in international terms, not just for collaboration and information from, say, things like the UN, which is important, and we spoke about that too, but also for collaboration and cooperation between IACD and other international organizations, and for example, the International Association of Facilitators was one of the groups that, and 2 of the people in the group are actually involved in, so I felt that both of those were already things that we do consider, but maybe things worth considering further into the future. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Anastasia. I think that's a really interesting point for us to explore further as well. I did see somebody, I think was it Michelle? Or did you put something in the chat, Michelle? Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, I put our reflection in the chat. Let's hear other people's voices.
Okay. Okay, so Daniel, message there from you. Let's see.
Broadly, these were the key issues that came up. That we need to enhance our involvement around climate justice issues. Then do a lot more in capacity building of the members. Then enhance our voice as IACD on humanitarian action issues, and then engage more with the members. The feeling is that IACD is still not being felt at the grassroots, and so find mechanisms of getting our voice from IACD up there felt in the membership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Making a note of that. So any final points or reflections on that discussion before we go to any final announcements and bring the meeting to a close? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much, all of you. I'm just going to put that link again, just in case you didn't see it earlier. Please do share those responses to the questions that we posed, particularly if your conversation was going off on a different direction. Really keen to get your feedback on that. It's not the only opportunity, but it is good to start getting some of that articulated verbally. So just to bring the AGM to a close then, I'd like to thank all of you for joining and for staying towards the end. I know that over the course of the Darwin conference and since then, there have been a couple of queries about when the next World Community Development Conference will be. And we have made a board decision to move to every other year for a World Community Development Conference for a number of reasons. So the next one, the intention would be for 2025. And we're taking this opportunity as the AGM to launch a call for proposals for partnering for a World Community Development Conference in 2025. And ideally be in a position to hopefully receive some proposals and make an announcement towards the end of the year. We feel that every other year gives host organisers a longer lead in time to do all the planning and preparation work that is necessary, and also participants time to think about securing support to travel for an international conference and prepare abstracts for submission as well. So 2025 would ideally be the next date, and we're open to ideas and welcome those from you. And we'll put that out on our social media as well. Are there any other announcements that any of you would like to make before we bring the meeting to a close, perhaps about an upcoming event that you have, or something that you'd just like to flag up while you're here before we close the meeting? Okay. Daniel?
Yeah, I can still invite our membership to our monthly series of webinars. The next edition, the second Wednesday of next month, will be on community development and children in special need. And so you're welcome to join us and see how we can be partner in promoting the rights of children who are in quite difficult circumstances, in some cases beyond what you can even imagine for their age. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Laurie?
Yeah, I just realized I should probably mention the next Researchers Forum event. I think is September 18th. There'll be more information coming out about it. And it's looking to build on some conversation from the last forum, which there's a video link if you want to see what happened at the last forum, which was around engaging diverse stakeholders. But the future one is probably going to be around something around the challenges around finding funding to do work that communities actually want to do, and that is in alignment with the IACD standards. So yeah, there was some discussion in the last session about challenges related to funding, whether for research or for work actually in communities, and some of the conflicting agendas, I'll say, around that. So that's September 18th, if you're interested in signing up for that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Laurie. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. We'll bring the meeting to a close. Really appreciate you all joining and today, but also your ongoing support and involvement with IACD. Despite all the global challenges that our communities are experiencing, hopeful and positive in relation to what we might be able to do together through IACD and promoting community development as a way of working for positive outcomes for communities moving forward, and really look forward to your ongoing involvement with us. And thank you all very much indeed, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.